Okay, good afternoon again. This is our final seminar for the Expo today, and I'm welcoming Andrew Blair and Judy Teal, and they're going to talk about how to build effective business relationships. The way that we all interact is so important in business. This seminar is going to explore how we respond to different personalities around us and how we can build effective business relationships, improve our teamwork, and be seen as effective leaders or managers. Andy did a 15-minute session at one of our networking breakfasts about a month and a half ago. And I would say it was quite possibly the most popular and most informative of its kind that people enjoyed. And actually, a lot of people have referenced me in saying, oh, can we have Andy back again? So I think I'm delighted that Andy with Judy are going to expand on that networking session. So I'm thinking you're going to really enjoy this. So I will love you and leave you. Andy, Judy, I'm going to listen into this. So yeah, good stuff. See you soon, and thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I hope you've had a good day at the Expo. I've had some very good reports, some exciting things going on, and some lovely speakers. So we're going to focus this afternoon on personal communication skills. My name's Andy Blair, and I've been working in this area now for over 15 years, pretty much concentrating on personal effectiveness, your communication skills in leadership, as managers, as team members, building your business, building your relationships. Really having to have a think about how you're seen, how you're heard, how you're coming over. Are people understanding what you're saying? Are you able to influence them? And that's what this communication section is going to be about. So also we have with us there, I don't know if you can see Julie Teal on screen at the moment. Jules is a skills coach in communication. She's also a performance professional. So she's going to be doing some acting for us later. You won't be doing any, but she'll be doing some for us. I hope that's okay. So we look forward to meeting up with her later. So I'm going to ask her just to go on off screen and mute for a moment, and we'll catch up with you later, Julie. Thank you. So why do we need to look at this? This is a big area to think about, even marketing terms, for people to know your business, to like your business, and then trust your business. You probably had that one before. So all in all, competitors, they get their marketing out there. People know about you. Why do they like you? Well, that might be your branding. It might be what you say you'll do. It might be your history with them. But at some point, it will come down to an interaction face-to-face, on screen, maybe in the same room these days. So it will come down to your personal responsibility to how you communicate and whether they like you. And therefore, do they go on to buy from you and build that business relationship? So it's about how you are seen, how you are heard, your personal impact. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a psychometric quiz just to really connect and reflect on your own communication skills. And then we're going to observe and identify behaviors with the help of Julie, who's just left us, but we'll be back soon. And then we're going to think about how we might apply that in a leadership context. And it's really to look at your personal communication skills and reflect on those. And what are they? So why would we do that? Well, it's going to be as interactive as I can make it in terms of the chat. So the first thing I would like us to do is to type into the chat. What would be the benefit to you to be more effective in your personal communications? So let's just think about in context of our own businesses and ourselves, typing into the chat, what would be the benefit to you to be more effective in your personal communications? So we're going to click on the chat, and I'm hopefully going to see some responses coming through. Here we go. What can we have? So think about it from your point of view. What's the benefit to you? Sometimes it's fairly obvious. There'll be new business, but what's the benefit to you to be more effective? Okay, there's a question up in the chat for you. If you could just type into that, just have a think about that. In terms of the context of your business, or where you are in your team, or where you are in your organization? What are the benefits to be more effective in the way you communicate? So just waiting for some of those to come through at the moment. We'll have a little chat about those, but it's good to start on what you transmit, because it's a two-way thing, communication, of course. So you're going to transmit things. How's that going to be received? More sales, less work. Yeah, less rework. Very important point, because you have to revisit things. When the communication is not clear, you need to revisit. Longer term relationships, better synergy. Yeah, just connecting to people. Yeah, so you want people are going to agree to meet up with you and like your business. So this is a chance to make people like you in terms of that part of that marketing journey to get them to actually buy from you. Reputation. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Stanning. Reputation, very important long term. This can really go wrong when you offend somebody or you don't get something right in a meeting, and the reputation of you or your business can really be damaged. But hopefully positively, it can really kick things along and get things moving. Anything else in there? Connecting with business partners? Yeah, okay. Right, thank you for those comments. That's really helpful to get you thinking about where this could make a difference. Because we do need to think about why are some people more successful in building relationships than others. Some people are just good at it. Is that you? Fantastic. This could make it even better. Why do some people seem to fit in certain industry sectors? Sometimes you get a culture that has a specific style of communication. And if you're going to go and work with that sector, you need to kind of recognize what that is and maybe how you can flex to it. And why are some people chosen as leaders? So is that about their communication style, their history, their achievements, combination of them all? And why is the team not functioning? So often about communication, with different ways to communicate, but how they interrelate with each other and how you support that, how you become aware of that is something you can start looking at. So how are we going to do that? Okay, we've got some time this afternoon, so we're going to do a quick and cheap and dirty sort of psychometric test here. So it's not going to be a big quiz. It's really time just to reflect on how you make decisions, how you communicate, what your preferences are. Because there's generally pretty much agreed that this works. There are personality styles and types, but before we go into them and kind of don't want to flag up what they are at the moment, though you may be familiar with them, we're going to do this little quiz. So what I'm going to do is now screen share, which it can be easier said than done, as many of you are probably used to working in this format now. I'll do 1 second. I'm just trying to get to screen share already there. So I'm clicking through the processes here and files. Thank you very much. And hopefully this is going to come up in a moment. It takes a few seconds to load, but it should be with us very shortly. Yeah, word of mouth. Thank you, Camilla. That's interesting. Yeah, connect with business partners. My sharing's not coming up as quick as I would like. Let's just check that out again. So I'll just go to system. Yeah, there it is. Thank you very much. Probably come up again twice. So I hope you're looking at a screen that says personal effectiveness. If somebody could type yes, that'd be really helpful. I can just trust that that's actually happening. So we're going to step through the history of these personality styles. The first one I want you to look at and consider is where this came from. So we're basically back to Greco-Roman times, where there was really some strong consideration that your physiology, the 4 humors of your body, would affect your personality. So they had things like blood, yellow bile, black bile, phlegm, and the balance of these 4 humors would kind of reflect your personality. So this is not a new idea. It kind of developed throughout the time into more spiritual approach. And here you see some definitions. Once again, 4 of the 12 there: warrior, priest, sage, server. So kind of aligning the fact that your personality might direct you towards your profession, or the other way around. Certain people should be doing certain jobs, and certain jobs attract a certain kind of person. So fair logic in that. This continued on to last century, where we moved on to Jungian and Freudian theory and the psychology of personality. And once again, we're seeing 4 sort of categories here. One about whether somebody's introvert, extrovert, sensing, intuition, thinking or feeling, judging and perceiving. This model is Myers-Briggs, and it's very famous. It's very well established, but it has 4 and then 16 subdivisions, and I think even more subdivisions in conjecture. So it's very good, it's very accurate, but it's quite cumbersome to use in a daily conversation or in a business-to-business conversation, though you will come across it if you haven't already in terms of recruitment and working with teams. So these 4 definitions work really well. But let's find out what your 4 definitions are. So we're going to do our little quiz just to check on your communication style. So the first thing I need to ask you to do is to get a pen and paper. If you haven't got one handy, get one together. And I'm going to ask 5 questions, and there's things to note down: A, D, A, M, or E for each of the questions. So here's a kind of grid, and you don't need to use that grid, but you do need a pen and paper, and just note down your answer for the question. Okay, so if everyone's ready, we've got kind of pen and paper there. We're going to ask the first question, and this is it. Hold on, here it comes. So when performing a job, it's most important to me to do which of the following? So have a think about this one. Do it correctly, regardless of the time involved, set deadlines and get it done, or work as a team cooperatively with others, demonstrate my talents and enthusiasm. So question 1 there: demonstrate your talents and enthusiasm, cooperate with others, get it done, or do it correctly, regardless of the time involved. So have a think about which one you would choose when performing a job. What's actually important to you? Obviously, do the job. That's kind of that's for everyone. But which of those would be fit for you? Doing it correctly, getting it done. Have a think about that. Okay, make a note of that. The next question, he says, trying to get this to tick on. There we go. Next question, number 2. Yeah, this is important. What's the most enjoyable part of working on a job? Is it the information you need, the results you achieve, or the people you meet and work with, or seeing how the job contributes to progress? So innovation, what's happening next in the world, or the people, the results, or the information you need to do it. So just take a note of that. If you've done this kind of question before, just revisit it. See if you still have the same thoughts and ideas as you did last time. Okay, so question, here we go. Not too taxing, I hope. Question number 3. When I have several ways to get a job done, I usually review the pros and cons of each. Yeah. Choose a way that I can begin to work immediately, discuss ways with others and agree, or review the ways and follow my gut. So the kind of gut feeling, discuss ways with others and agree. So go have a chat with someone, see if they think the same. Choose a way that I can get to it, get on with it, or pros and cons of each way and choose. So that's question number 3. So we're trucking through them there. I hope you've got a note of them. Done 3 questions. I'm going to move on to question number 4. Working in a long-term job, it's most important to me too. This is thinking slightly more strategically. Understand and complete each step before going to the next step. Seek a fast, efficient way to complete it. Work on it with others in the team. Keep the job stimulating and exciting. So in the long term, what's important to you? I suppose, yeah, I've got to get the job done. We have to do work. We have to finish things by 2 o'clock. We have to get things done. But in the long term, what's the important thing about a job there? So make a selection from there. It's question 4, A, D, A, M, or E. Okay, we're heading into the final question on this quiz. Normally there's about 15, 20, 40 questions. We're only doing 5 today, just a very light touch. So this is about risk and your risk appetite. So you didn't see question 3? Okay, hold on, folks. I'm going to pop back. Just going to pop back so we can get the right question for you. Question 3. Oh, maybe I missed it out altogether. Let's check question 3. So when I have several ways to get a job done, I usually do what? Yeah, I don't think we did it there. I think we might have skipped over this one. So make a note of it. Question 3. When I have several ways to get a job done, I usually do what? Review the pros and cons of each and choose. Choose a way that I can begin to work immediately. Discuss ways with others and agree, or follow my gut. I think we did cover this one, but it's good to do it again. So pros and cons, choose a way, or discuss the ways with others and agree. Follow my gut. Okay, I hope everyone's got question 3. Check on 4 again. The long-term job. A-D, A-M, E. And where we were up to was question 5. I'm willing to take a risky action. So your risk appetite. These are, well, are there facts to support your action? You take the risk to get the job done, if it does the job. You take the risk if it will not hurt others' feelings. You'll take the risk if it feels right for the situation. So if it feels right, well, doesn't hurt others, it gets the job done, or there are some facts, there's some good reasons for doing this action. If there is, I'll risk it. So there's questions 1 to 5. So if anyone's not got all of those, can they let me know in the chat, which is our main process of communication at the moment. So we've done our 5 questions, and whatever way you've laid them out, you might have something that looks like this. So you might have a few selections here of few A's around under the A, a few A's, you had a few D's, only one AM. You might have had them all under A. You might have had them all under AM. But generally, there's a mixture of both. What that indicates, in a very limited test, is the ones you've got the most in is your communication style, your preference, or certainly a preference under pressure. You can have second preferences, but for the moment, we're going to keep fairly simple and say that if you've got a number more than 3 there, it's probably your style. So what I'm going to do is stop screen sharing for a moment. Let's see how quickly that comes in. And can I ask you just in the chat to type in which communication style you came up with? What did that little quiz give you as a result? A, D, AM, or E? Can you type those into the chat for me? And I can just see what kind of mix we've got in the room in terms of these personalities. What is your style preference? There's the question. Got an A. Thanks, James. Split. Oh, yeah. A, D. Yeah, that's interesting. Not complete it. Yeah, thanks, Alex. A, D. We're getting a bit of a mixture. Thank you, Lorraine, yeah. A, D's, D's. Any more to come through there? All we need to do is type in one letter. No, AM and E. Ah, that's an interesting combination there. Any more to come in? So we've got A's, D's. Have we got everyone? Yep, I think we've got nearly the whole mix of people in the room, which is what you would expect in this situation. So let's have a little look at the model itself. So I'm going back to share screen again, and it's all going to be a much quicker process and happen really quickly this time. Here we go. So we should be back on screen Is that file sharing? Not yet. No, okay. We'll try that again. Okay. Different in every place these days. And there it is. Let's see. There it is. Thank you very much. And all the way down. So the model we're going to look at is Bolton and Bolton's People Start at Work. This is quite an established model that's been around for some time. There's many developments from this using the basic colors and different descriptors. But it seems to be one of the simplest and most effective in terms of understanding people's preferences and their communication styles. So the D stands for driver, the E for expressive, A analytical, and AM is the amiable. And what does that mean? Well, the colors are a good guide actually in these in terms of some of the behaviors you're likely to see in here. That red, the strength, the yellow, quite expressive, analytical, that blue, cooler side of things, and the amiable green, more connected to the earth, all sorts of normal associations with these colors. So what we mustn't do is, of course, make assumptions about that. But let's see if we can explore this a little bit further. So let's try our next screen. And here we go. So let's look at this first one. So people who came up with the D. Now have a think about this in terms of whether you definitely aren't this, or maybe that is me at different times. So drivers, also known as directors, warriors, like to be up front to get things done. They can be very goal orientated, assertive, proactive. You might see strong cutting gestures. You'll definitely hear probably a firm tone and shorter sentences in terms of being able to identify the style. Just they'll be more clipped. They won't talk too much. Might be considered to be abrupt, even aggressive, or bullying. But they just want to get their point across and get things done and get to the point. They can be very fair if offered clear and logical advocacy, and they tend to be highly productive. They really can get things done. It's what happens in the process and maybe what happens to the people on that journey. But it can be really big picture, lots of pace, good energy. And yeah, they like to have a sense of authority. They're not too fussed about rules and regulations, and they don't like people to stand up against them. So they like to kind of have their own way a little bit. But it will be to get the job done and control the situation, not necessarily to control others, but the situation. So really great things and maybe not so great things if their strength is overplayed. Okay, so there's the driver for you. If you're a driver, did you end up in the right place from that quiz, or did you go there? Definitely not you in that case. So that takes us over to the expressive yellow, so bright, full of energy, lots of humor. You're going to hear humor from this people who have this communication style. Lots of anecdotes, lots of stories, things to tell, and happy to be in the middle of a group telling that story, enjoying the situation, enjoying the limelight a little bit, but also bringing that energy to the team and bringing that sort of let's do something, and let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy work. Work doesn't have to be a real chore and really difficult. It can be a little bit possibly egotistical, self-centered. Some people might perceive them to be superficial, but they will be facially expressive. They'll be louder, definitely, and very bright, but quite open and honest and love to be with people. Really enjoy being in the thick of it. Witty, articulate. Something you might look out for if it's not going their way is a bit of sarcasm. That can really come in. They'll be clever, it'll be witty, but it'll be quite cutting. The innovation and our new ideas, which takes us on to the next quadrant. And we can have a think about, let's just check what happens here. I know, I'd like it to click, thank you very much. Is it going to do that? I'm not sure. Bear with, folks. I'm just waiting for a computer to connect up here. See if that works. No, that didn't work either. Okay. Driver, expressive. Oh, finally. Okay, there we go. So analytical, thinker, blue, much more structured, much more logic going on here, much more attention to detail. They tend to be a little bit quieter, more introverted. They really like to make sure the job's finished and completed in the right way. They're willing to discuss alternatives if they're logical, and they're quite conscientious. So you're looking for structure, order, prefer written instructions rather than a verbal exchange. So you're expressive, just you're happy to talk it through, but you're analytical, will want something in writing, will probably want an email, would probably prefer an email than actually having a conversation, because that can be recorded, that can be checked on, and that can be checked back on. And what you're seeing here is them thinking, actually, not necessarily slowly, but thinking on the voice, maybe a lack of eye contact, and yes, as they're thinking things through, and they need to do that, and you need to give them some time to do that. They can get very stressed under pressure of time constraints because they want time to actually go through things properly. But great detailed work. You really want thinkers and analyticals on your team there. So final quadrant here, we're looking at amiables, who are friendly, open, really good listeners, and considerate of other people's point of view. Can be a bit hesitant, maybe, lacking assertiveness, perhaps. But, you know, when it comes down to something being fair or unjust, they will stand up and they will take action. They really will step up for something that needs to be done, that's they're passionate about or is about their beliefs. And they like to work with a team. So you're going to hear lots of chat, but nothing too forceful. You're going to hear involvement and the need to be with people and the focus on the team. Empathetic, genuine, and thoughtful. So there's a very quick breakdown on those four quadrants, and on my website, which is marked on the last part of the session, there's a whole PDF breakdown that you can get, which takes you through this in real detail. But the thing to remember here, and as we got in our chat, some people had two definitions of preference of style. Be you. You are, in fact, all of them. Of course you are. So it's really important to understand that it's a bit like being in a house. You use all the different rooms in the house, but there's a particular room that you are more comfortable in. That cozy armchair that you like to sit in. It's the place you go to. The go-to to feel good. It's the go-to if you're under pressure. And that's about people's drivers, their motivations. So here you've got four definitions: getting things done, to be seen and heard, to be liked, and to get it right. And they are really more of a key to people's personalities and therefore their communication style. And what we want to look at today is, in business terms, if you flex to that style, can you help build that relationship? So how do you do that? And I hope this is big enough on all your screens. But for example, to flex to an expressive, you want to adopt an informal style because that's what they're presenting to you. Enjoy their humor, give them plenty airtime, and speak with energy and enthusiasm. With a driver, you want to really get to the point pretty succinctly. Be logical, business focused. This red and yellow area of this quadrant, they tend to be a bit more expressive. So a bit more louder, a bit more upfront and happy to communicate. You know, get information from the external world. If you want to flex to an analytical, you need to present them with some detail. Use logic and you know, paperwork. They like that sort of thing. And give them time to think. Give them time to think. Amiables, well, exchange pleasantries. Rapport building is really important. Ask how they are. Ask them about their family. They'll probably ask about yours. So be honest and open, and acknowledge the validity of their emotions. So that's how you flex to them. And the reason you need to start flexing is because who gets on with whom? So before we leave this slide, just let's have a little think about who gets on with whom. Most people go for like. You're happy with people like you. So drivers, yeah, they're pretty good together, unless somebody else wants to be the boss. And then you're going to get into conflict. Who's going to be the boss of this team of drivers? Sometimes they're really good and they'll acknowledge the need for a leader, a manager, and will obviously bow down to that because that's how you get things done. You need a leader. So they recognize that. You might have a little struggle about who is going to be the leader. The expressives, well, yeah, if there's lots of them together, you'll hear lots of noise, you'll hear lots of fun going on and lots of chat. But only one person can have the spotlight at any one time. And if somebody's really hogging it, then you're going to get tensions. Down in the thinker side of things, well, you'll get along with other thinkers, most certainly, because they've got similar approaches. Where the trouble is when they disagree on process, what's the right process to do something? There is a right way to do things. And if you think you've got the right way and it's not mine, that's when it's going to come to grief. But otherwise, they're going to get on. And drivers and analyticals tend to be more task focused. On the left-hand side of this, they tend to be more task focused. So consequently, they tend to get on. It's about the job. And sometimes we're encouraged to take on some of these behaviors in the workplace, to be more driver, to be more analytical. And we can do. We can move into these quadrants, these communication styles as required. Finally, we have the amiables. It's all about the people. That's what's really important. What's going to be the impact on the people involved? Who am I going to be working with? How can I help out? How can we get the best out of our team? Very much more the modern leader. So there's just some thoughts on that to think about. Where did you end up? You can look at this in more detail post this session and think about how you can flex. Because if you flex to their style, they generally like you. You'll get on with them. You'll make that connection. You'll understand how to build that relationship. And that's what we want to consider today, how to build those business relationships and make those connections. And sometimes we don't get on with people. And this is when it's really important to recognize, they're a driver and I'm not. And I find them quite abrupt. So maybe I just have to flex my style a little bit. So I'm going to stop screen sharing for a moment and ask you to do a little bit of work in the chat here. So can I ask you to think about a famous person, alive or dead, who would represent your quadrant, your preference, your communication style? Famous person, alive or dead. I did this the other day, and some smart young man offered, was it Charles II? I didn't know anything about Charles II's communication style, so it was quite difficult to even discuss with him. But someone alive or dead who would represent your quadrant, your communication style. Let's see, typing away. Let's see if we can have some reactions to that, because this is someone who might represent you. That's a thought, isn't it? Okay. So anything coming through there? New messages, it says. How do I get them? Yep, that's your question. Famous person, alive or dead? That's the question. Let's see, we have some ideas on that. For your style. Anyone got an idea? Someone who, famous person alive, but who would represent the quadrant of drivers? Just waiting for those messages to come through now. Check where we're at and check where we're at on time. Okay, pretty good. Now I've got no chat coming through here. Has everyone gone away? You're not talking to me. What's going on there? Famous person alive or dead? Let's refresh the chat. Angela Merkel. Yeah. So what style do we think Angela Merkel is, Marjan? If you could just type in Angela Merkel, where does she fit? Amiable or driver? Doesn't strike me as expressive, but I'm sure she's quite fun at the party. Who knows? Angela Merkel. Okay, that was for D for driver, maybe. Okay, so in the chat, can you just maybe give me a famous leader for, let's see, analytical? A famous leader for analytical. Anyone got any ideas in there? I'm not sure if my chat's working here at all. Got no. Oh, here they come. All right. No, I'm not getting nothing through. Well, I hope you are out there. Do have a little think about that. There are several kind of characters who often come up in this. When we talk about amiables and champions of that quadrant, we get the lovely Mother Teresa is often quoted. Chris Whitty, thank you, Alex. Oh, Chris Whitty, but which quadrant do you think that is, Alex? That was yours, Chris Whitty. Okay, so any other people famous, alive or dead? Okay, we have Mother Teresa. For red, for drivers, we have some interesting, obvious characters like Winston Churchill, Chris Whitty being analytical. Thank you, Alex. For expressives, that's quite a tricky one. Leaders who are expressive. We've got a few charismatic leaders at the moment who like airtime, who like to talk. They're great orators or appear to be. They're able to influence, but they're not good on detail. Thank you. Angela Merkel is analytical and takes time to understand problems. Really interesting. Thank you, Marja. And in terms of how we perceive our leaders as drivers, analyticals, what comes over? So consequently, what are you putting out there? What are you transmitting? How are people perceiving you? Is it what you think? Would you place yourself as maybe an analytical person? But are you being perceived as such? What are you actually communicating? So a few other ideas there. Anyone else on expressives? Sometimes we get that lovely man who owns Virgin Media, great leader, full of energy, but quite alternative, quite relaxed, quite a cool vibe. Yeah, that would definitely work. And red, well, we've got Mr. Trump. Well, he could go red or expressive. He likes the sound of his own voice for sure. So world leaders there. So let's see if we can. Warren Buffett. Yep, thank you, Karen. Let's see if we actually. I'll get Jules back in here, and we'll have a look at identifying some styles. All right, welcome back. So, hello, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Okay, so what we're going to do is play out a scenario here. Julie is going to play a hotel receptionist, and I'm going to play 4 different styles of customer coming up with the same complaint. Yeah. Thank you. A few more ideas coming on leaders now. Thank you for that. Chris Evans, classic expressive. Yes, he is. So Jules is going to play a hotel receptionist, and I'm going to portray a one of these styles coming up to deal with the complaint. The situation is quite straightforward. We're in the wrong room. I'm in the wrong room, and that's not the one I booked. And I'm going to make a complaint at the reception desk. So what I'd like you to do out there is kind of identify which style I am portraying. So I need you to chat in here. I need you to type in, guys. I don't know if there's a problem with the chat at all, but if you can type in which style is being demonstrated. Okay, so this is the time to really look and listen and see if you can identify which style I'm portraying. And then we'll think about how Jules might flex to me to make a more effective outcome. Okay, are we ready? Off we go.
Good afternoon. How can I help?
Oh, hello. My name is Mr. Brown. I'm in room 429. Are you the receptionist?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it would appear, and that I've been booked into the wrong room, and I specifically booked a view over the river, which is on the west side of the hotel, and we are on the the southeast side of the hotel, overlooking the what is the overflow car park. And well, I'm not happy, and I want the room that was booked, which had ensuite, extra towels, and the welcome basket.
I'm sorry to hear that you're not happy with your room, but I'm afraid the hotel's full and there are no other rooms available.
Well, on the 12th, I sent an email to confirm my online booking and that the aspect of the room was facing the river. And I spoke to Miss Jane Michaels, and she confirmed that on the 12th, yes, about 2:30, on 2:30 that afternoon. So, she confirmed the view and the booking requirements.
Well, I appreciate that. However, as I said, we are fully booked.
Okay, well, right. Well, I want to see the duty manager, and I want to see a copy of your terms and conditions for booking. Am I clear?
Yes, well, I will bring it to the attention of the manager right away, and I'm happy to check on the system and get back to you.
Well, I want this resolved in the next 20 minutes, and I'll be back in room 429. Thank you. Right. Okay. So, identifying the style. So I do need to type in now, what style do we think this hotel guest was? What style was the hotel guest? Are we able to identify his communication style? Anyone out there on the type? Analytical? Yeah, analytical. Thank you. Abadea, analytical. And anyone else? Okay, so have a think about what indicated that analytical style to you. Okay, analytical style. Thank you for the A. Thank you, James. Nice to hear from you. Anything that indicated that style? Sorry to keep you working in the chat here, but this is kind of what I do, experiential working, interactive stuff. So what did you see or hear that indicated it? So he came on, he's got the room. Lots of exact detail, facts, attention to detail. Thank you, Karen. Nice to hear from you. Yes, absolutely. Dates, times, lots of detail. So let's think about how we could flex to that. So some ideas in the chat for our receptionist, who was, I think it's fair to say, was professional, even. There's no solution to this. The hotel is booked. So all she can do is help manage it. So let's see if she can flex a bit. What can she do to flex her style? Yeah, it seemed like a lot of thinking. Yes, a lot of thinking going on. Slow speaking, lack of eye contact. Yep, all those things were you can spot straight away. They're really strong indicators of a thinker. So, what can you do to flex? You've identified someone's preferences. What can you do to flex? Anything coming through there? Okay, so acknowledge the guest points. Yeah, absolutely. Some really good, more detail. Yeah. Thank you, Karen. Yep. Okay, so the things we can do in terms of general customer response, but I want us to see if, well, let's see if Jules can come up with some specific things that would flex to this style. We ready to go? Okay, here we go.
Good afternoon. How can I help?
Yeah, my name is Mr. Brown, and I'm in 429. Are you the receptionist? Yeah, well,
Yes,
I
I am
appear
the
to be booked into the
receptionist.
wrong room. I specifically booked a view over the river on the east side of the hotel. I'm on the southwest, overseeing the reserve car park. I'm really not happy, and I want the room I was promised, which was 349 with the additional towels, the ensuite, and of course the welcome basket.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear that, Mr. Brown. Unfortunately, we are full. We've been fully booked since the beginning of August. And I am very, very sorry to hear that you're not in the right room.
Well, on the 12th of August, I did send an email to confirm my online booking and to confirm the aspect of the room was on the river, 30 in the afternoon. Yes, confirmed my requirements.
Right. And who did you speak to, did you say?
Oh, Miss Jane Michaels.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I'll speak to Jane Michaels myself to confirm that. And we'll put it up on the system, Mr. Brown, so we can double check that for you.
Right. Well, thank you for that. But to be honest, I'm still not happy. I would like to speak to the manager.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do understand that, Mr. Brown, and I will get the manager down to you straight away. He's just on a different call at the moment, but I'll get him to print out all the times and our reservations for you exactly, so you can see what's been going on. And in the meantime, we will do our best to find an alternative solution for you.
Right, but you will give me a printout of the terms and conditions.
Print out if that's what you would like. I'll bring it up to your room, which is 459, and I'll be there in about 10 minutes, if that's all right.
Oh, okay. 10 minutes, definitely. Right.
Yes.
Right. Well, okay. Look, well, thank you for that. I'll have a read through those and I'll see you in 10 minutes. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Okay, so well done, our receptionist there. You can't solve the situation, but yeah, I think I felt a bit happier that, yeah, I'm going to check those terms and conditions. I'm going to read through those. So these are the things that this communication style would like. And if you flex to them, it's going to help. Provide steps that you're going to take next. That's really great one, Christine. Thank you. Explaining process to this person. It's good customer service anyway to talk through your processes. Yeah, talk through them, share the process. I want to understand the process. So that's a really good thing to do. Okay, let's do another version, a different style. We'll present this to us, how we're doing for time. Okay, we'll do another one and see if we can identify it straight away. Type in as soon as you have recognized the style. Okay, different version, different reaction. Here we go.
Good afternoon. How can I help?
Good afternoon. Well, good or not, we shall have to see. And are you going to help or hinder? Well, we shall see on that one too. Look, here, I appear to be in the wrong room here. I booked a room with a view and I haven't got it. I'm looking at the car park, and the car park, the river, the car park, river. It's not the same thing. I'm sure you'd agree on that. And I have not driven all the way down here into the country, to look at your rather dull car park. So I want to be moved pronto.
Right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're not happy with the room, but I'm afraid the hotel is fully booked and there are no rooms available.
Yep. Look, I filled in the right boxes. You've got my money. You need to get a wiggle on here. So, I've been looking forward to this trip as a kind of ray of sunshine in all this darkness.
I appreciate that. However, as I said, the hotel is fully booked.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk to the manager. I want to talk to them now and pretty sharpish. Otherwise, I'm going to be in a hotel down the road.
Well, I'll bring it to the attention of the manager right away, and I'm happy to check on the system and get back to you.
Oh, checking the system. God, look, just get it sorted, sharpish, or I will be in the hotel down the road. Okay? Okay, so quickly, folks. Yes, E, director. You a bit of director, a bit of E, but expressive, lots of energy, bit of sarcasm, some humor. Let's see if she can flex to this style. We'll go straight for this one, okay? So he's going to try and flex to the style. Think about what she could do and let's see what Jules does to flex to this style. Right, here we go again.
Good afternoon. How can I help you?
Well, are you going to help me or not? I'm not really too sure because, whether it's...
Obviously.
Well, thank you. Your best would be great because I'm not too happy at the moment. Thank you. Well, the view, I'm looking at the car park and not the river. The river, the car, they're not the same thing, are they? They're not.
No, you're absolutely right. They're not. Although the car park has been newly refurbished, and I think you'll probably see the flowers that have been put into that recently. So it is looking better than it was, certainly. Yeah,
good for the cars, just not good for me. Look, I'm in the wrong room. I want it changed, okay? Because I did book I need it done pronto. Thank you.
Right. Well, I'm afraid at the moment the hotel is fully booked.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. That's not my problem, really, is it? Unless you kind of come up with something, I'm going to be staying at a hotel down the road.
Oh, well, we won't want you doing that, of course. So obviously, well, we will do our best for you. As I said, it is booked at the moment, but I'll have a chat with the duty manager, see what we can do for you.
Well, good, because I didn't drive down into the country for a bit of, sunshine and all this darkness just to be in the wrong room.
Well, no, and I'd like to welcome you to the countryside. What I'd suggest you do is go to our sunny bar and have a complimentary drink while I try and sort things out. Would that be all right?
Well, we're certainly on the same page there. Large one?
Yes, help yourself to a double.
Right, okay. Well, listen, let's get this sorted, okay? I'll be in the bar. All right, thank you. Okay, folks, so expressive there, flexing to the style, just picking up the energy, picking up the idea of reflecting the language, once again, matching the banter, but not inappropriately. Don't be sucked in to the charm and the energy, because you do have to be careful. But, a nice bit of flexing of style from the same receptionist, just moving into a slightly different quadrant for that moment. Let's skip straight on to the another style. See if you can guess what it is. Do type it in. Yeah, have to try to be charming with them to flex. Thank you, Adaba. Excellent. Okay, off we go.
Good afternoon. How can I help?
Thank you. I'm sorry to bother you. My name's Mr. Brown, and I'm in 429. And we seem to have. I'm sorry to bring it up, but we have booked into the wrong room. My wife is really upset. Because we were, this is where we honeymooned, we're really disappointed, and I do want the room to be changed.
I'm sorry to hear you're not happy with the room, but I'm afraid the hotel's full and there are no other rooms available.
Well, that's really disappointing, and I do feel you've let us down here. I talked to a lovely lady who said that it was all booked up and done. So I'm sorry, but it's really not acceptable. Am I making myself clear?
You are, and I appreciate that. But as I said, we are fully booked.
Well, I want to speak to the manager.
I'll bring it to the attention of the manager right away, and I'm happy to check on the system and get back to you.
Right. Okay. Well, it'd be wonderful if you can do something. I mean, I don't know how we can stay here if we don't resolve this.
Right.
Okay. So different style again, coming at this receptionist, and we've got AM. Thank you, James, Alex. Yeah. We think amiable. Yeah, I think so too. Let's see if our receptionist can now flex to being more amiable in style. She can't fix the problem, but she can flex her style. Let's see how that goes.
Good afternoon. How can I help?
Hello, my name's Mr. Brown, and I'm sorry to bother you, but you are the receptionist, aren't you?
I am indeed.
It would appear we've been booked into the wrong room. My wife's really upset.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we honeymooned here.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah, it was.
Back down memory lane then for you.
Well, yes, that was the idea. It was quite a few years ago now. We were really hoping to sort of, well, not revisit, but get what we had then and just feel part of that. But I'm not happy. I wondered if it's possible to move us.
Right. Well, I'm afraid we are fully booked.
Oh dear, that's really disappointing. I mean, I do feel you let us down here.
Well, I'm very sorry if that's how you feel, and I'm very sorry to hear that your wife's upset. I wondered if we could maybe organise what about a little afternoon tea, complimentary afternoon tea that could be brought to your room? Do you think your wife would like that?
Well, I'm sure she would. I mean, that obviously be lovely. It's very kind of you. Well, yes, that would be lovely. But I still, maybe need to talk to the manager or find if we can change rooms.
Right. Well, as I said, I think it may be a problem in terms of changing the rooms, but I will speak to the manager and we'll double check on the booking and the reservation that was made for you and your wife, Mr. Brown. So if you could just bear with us for that, and in the meantime, we'll send up the complimentary afternoon tea.
All right. Look, Well, it's really important that we sort this for my wife. Thank you.
We'll do our utmost.
All right, thank you. Okay, so thank you, everyone. You've got some nice AMs tucked in there and flexing. Yeah, you need to, it's important just to flex your style. The key things that will move this person on is the fact that you really care, that you're empathizing with my situation. A cup of tea is nice at the end. That's a nice thing to do if you can, customer service wise. But what's really making it is that I think I quite liked you, and I think you seem to respect my one. And that's what made me sort of, I'm okay with it for the moment, but I'm still not too happy. So there's some idea on flexing style. So I'm aware of our time in this situation. Let's just run the last one and we'll kind of wind up the session as we go here. Okay, here we go.
Good afternoon. How can I help you?
It might be. Look, my name is Mr. Brown. I'm 429. I'm in the wrong room. I want to be moved.
I'm sorry to hear you're not happy with the room, but I'm afraid the hotel's fully booked and there are no other rooms available.
Okay, maybe you didn't hear me. I am in the wrong room and I do want to be moved. So I booked a room with a view of the river.
Well, I appreciate that, but as I said, the hotel is fully booked.
Yeah, you have said that already. Look, all things are possible. Let's make it so. Okay, so let me speak to the manager possibly.
Well, I'll bring it to the attention of the manager right away and look on the system and get back to you.
So just don't bother. Our bags are still packed. We're going to go for a drive. When I come back, let's have the room moved. Okay, thank you. Whoa. Oh dear, somebody says yes. D. Very direct. Get on to the point. What else can you? Because she was quite succinct. Is there anything else you could do? Definitely D. Thank you, Kunal. Yeah, definitely D. Quite forceful, quite direct. How do you respond to that? Okay, Jules, can we have a final go with a response to that? Because the chat's a bit slow on the upcoming. Ooh, says Masha. So it's not me, honestly. I'm all of these things. Here we go. So we'll start again, and we'll see if Jules can flex to this style just a little bit more, because she's been very professional so far. And actually, I was reasonably happy with the exchange as a director, as a driver. Yeah, it was okay. Could you do a little bit more? Okay, here we go.
Good afternoon. How can I help you?
Yeah, my name is Mr. Brown. I'm in 429. I'm in the wrong room. I want to be moved.
Right. I'm sorry to hear you're in the wrong room. The hotel is fully booked.
Yeah, perhaps you didn't hear me. I want to be moved, and you've made an error. Please fix it. That's it. I booked a room with a river view.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll talk to the duty manager, see what can be done, and get back to you in 5 minutes. 5
minutes. Okay. I do want you to talk to someone. In fact, I'd like to talk to the duty manager myself.
Right. Well, I can organise that. If you could just wait here for 1 minute, and I'll just go and get him.
Okay, I appreciate that. Look, we're going for a drive now. Can I talk to him in, say, half an hour? And just because I need to get this sorted, but half an hour, would that be done?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you sure?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. See you in a bit. Quite a tricky one to deal with, but she didn't respond to the tone or energy. But I certainly got a sense of something's going to happen, and I will talk to the manager when I'm ready. And so I'm in that sense of control in the driving seat. So I was happy with the conversation. I'm not happy with the room. Thank you very much, Julie. I can ask you to log off there. We'll look at winding down the session as we're coming up towards the end here. Just everyone have a think about what style they are. When you go on to think about leadership, I've got a lovely slide coming up, which I don't think we'll have time for, to think about how these connect to leadership styles as well. What kind of leader are you? What do you communicate as? So think about your style, flex to others, flex in your networking. Watch out for it. Watch out for those different styles in your networking and try and flex to them and see how you get on. reflect what you see, reflect what you hear, and flex your style, but be authentic, be you. And thank you very much for tuning into this session. I hope the rest of the expo goes really well. There's still a bit to go on, so do visit the other sessions and get some new ideas and hopefully some new business for all of us. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, everyone, and bye-bye. If I can find where to hang up. Here we go.